Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to my continued coverage of the 2021 G1 Climax Tournament. I am your host, the Natural Chris Black of the Saturday Night SlamCasters podcast, independent professional wrestler, and everybody's favorite narcissist. Today, I will be covering the A Block Finals. After 8 nights of exciting A Block action, we are now at a 4-way tie. Kenta, Shingo Takagi, Kota Ibushi, and Zack Saber Jr. are all at 12 points. So at the end of this evening, we will know who will be crowned the winner of the A Block. It's been a long road, so let's get right to the action. Starting the night out, we have the Great-O-Kahn defeating Satoshi Kojima. Satoshi Kojima, again, subbing for Naito, who's out on injury. So the Great-O-Kahn, who's already eliminated, jumps Kojima at the start of the match. After all, this is not about points. Great-O-Kahn is here to make a statement. And he's being very cocky and showing out. He's pinning with his foot. He's picking up Kojima instead of pinning him. And he's just slapping him in the corner. But Kojima, not one to be pushed around, turns things around and starts giving his patented machine gun chops. Then the two start trading chops back and forth, and Kojima is the one to get Great-O-Kahn down. He even takes him to the apron and delivers a DDT. Ocon retaliates using the stroke to slow Kojima down, but Kojima, after a little bit of fighting, is able to put on the Koji Cutter. So both of these guys are trying to take each other out. And in a last-ditch effort for Kojima, he hits a hard lariat, and Great-O-Kahn just crumpled underneath his feet. But he gets grabbed by the Sheep Killer and goes for the Eliminator and gets the pin on Kojima. With the points earned for Naito's forfeit, 8 points, not bad for a first G1 for the Great-O-Kahn. In the next match, we have Toroyano defeating Tomohiro Ishii. I would say this was a friendly Chaos Team matchup, but there was nothing real friendly about this. Yano attacks first, trying to put that bag over on Ishii's head. Ishii's not having any of that, but Yano does pull the shirt over Ishii's head and then tries to roll him up. Ishii, not one to play games, he puts the stop to that shit. Yano tries to escape and runs under the ring, but Ishii waits for him. He is not in the mood to play around. He wants a straight up wrestling match. When he gets Yano back in the ring, he's beating up on Yano until he gives him a kick to the back. And that wakes up Yano because he jumps up and gets right in his face. They start trading forearms. Yano gets taken down, but then Yano gets suplexed, jumps right back up, and then takes Ishii down amateur style 3 times in a row. Yano is giving him what he wanted, a straight up wrestling match. Ishii's able to avoid a couple of low blows, delivers a big lariat, but Yano ends up stealing another one after delivering a low blow and then rolling up Ishii. Both men finished the tournament at 10 points, but not enough to win. Alright, in the next match, we have Shingo Takagi and Yujiro Takahashi getting a draw, which I'm shocked that it took this long before we got a draw in this tournament. Yujiro attacks Takagi before the bell with the world's slowest suicide dive. He was not trying to win this match. His job was to stop Shingo from earning any more points, because in order to win the block, Kenta would have to win against Ibushi, and Zack Saber Jr. would have to lose his match. So he had to take Shingo out of the equation. But after the early attack, Shingo recovers and starts beating Yujiro in and outside of the ring. Peter tries to distract Shingo on the outside, who's not having that and is more like, "Move, bitch, get out my way." But Shingo still gets hit with the pimp stick because the referee's not paying attention. And because Yujiro is trying to keep Shingo from winning or gaining any points, he keeps trying to win with countouts. We get a funny spot between these two where Yujiro does the usual biting of the hand, but Shingo returns the favor and bites his back. They fight around some more. It's a pretty even back and forth contest, believe it or not, which is disappointing because this is Yujiro going up against the champion. When the match goes back outside, Shingo is thrown into the barricade and Yujiro shouts to the ref to start counting once again because he wants Shingo to lose by countout. And he even tries keeping Shingo outside of the ring, but Shingo's able to break the count. Yujiro, thinking fast on his feet, pulls him back outside, hits the pimp juice. As Shingo starts fighting up, he ends up slamming Yujiro, who holds on to Shingo's leg so he can't get back into the ring. Ref counts to 20. Both men are counted out and awarded 1 point for the draw, which means Shingo has been eliminated. Shingo ends the tournament at 13 points. Yujiro Takahashi at 5. In the next match, we had Tanga Loa defeating Zack Saber Jr. Now, I've been pretty impressed with the singles matches of both of the Tongans. And Tanga Loa and Zack Saber Jr. are very familiar with each other. Just like Tama Tonga and Tai Chi, they've been fighting over those tag team belts for most of the year. Zack attacks on the bell, goes right for the Cobra Twist because he really needs these 2 points in order to secure his win. Tonga takes a fight to the outside. Zack keeps trying to tie him up, but Tonga keeps powering out. Zack is back suplexed on the apron, which looked really nasty. Tanga Loa wants to stay on top of Zack, but he starts fighting back and starts targeting Tanga Loa's limbs. But he is having some difficulty. He tries once again for the Cobra Twist, but Tanga won't stay down. Zack goes for the Euro Clutch. Tanga Loa kicks out. He does his own version of the Euro Clutch, and he actually gets the victory. It was a great win for Tanga Loa. Zack Saber Jr. had one hell of a run in this year's G1. Guaranteed he will be getting a title shot at some point against Shingo Takagi for beating him during this tournament. Zack Saber Jr. ends the tournament with 12 points. Tanga Loa ends with 6. And in the main event, and the match to decide the tournament, we have Kota Ibushi defeating Kenta. This match started off with more or less of a sparring session before we got to some wrestling, but the match immediately goes to the outside. And the referees were being real generous with that count of 19. Like, they really waited on that 19. It was 18, 19, big pause, guy gets into the ring. So they really were pushing it with the whole 20 count. Kenta gains control of this match after throwing Ibushi into the exposed turnbuckles, and he does a pretty good job keeping him down from building momentum. Now, this is a spot that I thought was kind of stupid. They start fighting up on the entrance. Kenta takes Ibushi through the curtain. You hear some ruckus, and then Kenta starts running back to the ring, followed by Kota Ibushi. Once again, you get a very long count with Ibushi just making it on 19. Again, they're just really pushing it. He was thrown into the exposed buckles once again, and Ibushi, for the most part, has gotten very little offense in before he gets cut right back off. We get a ref bump. Kenta pushed Ibushi into the ref, which caused him to get squashed in the corner. Then Kenta grabs a chair, hits Ibushi in the back, who no-sells it, takes the chair from him. Ibushi teases hitting Kenta with the chair, but instead kicks him in the head. So we had a bit of a moment where Ibushi was thinking about nailing him with the chair, but he puts it down and does the honorable thing and just kicks him in the head. But it wasn't too honorable because he immediately goes to the outside and pulls out a table, and they start fighting on the apron. Kenta is then placed on the table. Kota Ibushi climbs up on the apron, gives him another kick as he's sitting up, and when Kenta goes back down, the table just collapsed on one side. I hate when tables break when they're not supposed to. But Ibushi, that doesn't stop him. He still does a splash on the table, which looked nasty because Kenta, like, his head bounced off the barricade, with the bottom of the barricade. We get another long-ass 19 count, and as Ibushi rolls into the ring, he gets caught with the delayed drop kick in the corner, followed by the double stomp, but he only gets a 2 count. Ibushi just barely escapes the GTS, but Kenta starts laying the pimp hand down. 10 hard slaps to the face, just whack, whack, whack. But Ibushi answers with a kick to the face and a Kamagoye, but only a 2 count. Kenta goes for the game over. Kota Ibushi is able to reach the ropes. As we reach the 25-minute mark, Kota Ibushi is driven headfirst into the exposed buckle. This time Kenta only getting a 2 count, but he follows it with a psycho knee, another 2 count, gets Ibushi up for a go to sleep, but he catches the knee, gives Kenta a high knee to the face, a Kamagoye to the back, and then one to the front to finish off Kenta and win 2 more points, thus winning the block. Kotabushi ends with 14 points. And for the 4th year in a row, Kota Ibushi will be competing in the finals of the G1 Climax Tournament. Okay, as you well know, that's not who I had picked. I thought Shingo was definitely going to win this tournament. But with Kota Ibushi winning the A block, I'm going to have to kind of look at the B block a little differently. It's obvious that the B block is going to be decided between Okada and Jeff Cobb. I stand by my belief that Jeff Cobb is not going to be challenging the champion because the real champion, Will Ospreay, is the leader of his faction, so it makes no sense for him to challenge Shingo, possibly win, and then have to fight Will Ospreay. That just doesn't make any sense, which leads me to believe that Okada will defeat Jeff Cobb tomorrow night in the B Block Finals, and it will be Kota Ibushi versus Okada. Now, I'll wait until I review the B Block Finals to reveal who I think is going to take the tournament. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take it home. I want to thank all of you who's been listening to my reviews of the G1 Climax Tournament. And if you would be so kind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. My goal was to reach 100 subscribers by the end of October, so there's still time. If you've been on the fence, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so I can hit my goal. And if you want to relive the tournament, won't you go back and listen to all of my reviews leading up to this point. You can follow me on all social media. Links are in the description. That'll take you to my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages. And let's not forget to show the Saturday Night SlamCasters some love. Links are also in the description. That'll take you to our podcast site, YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Facebook group. I want to thank you once again for tuning in, and until next time, come get slammed.